Okay, students, so let us begin. So we are discussing numericals of magnetic materials. Okay, now here starts from question number 3. All right, goes till 11. Now students, in this last time we have not yet discussed the 7th numerical and the 10th numerical. Okay, so the 7th and the 10th numerical is left. Remaining all the numericals have been discussed last time. So if you all have not completed them, please see to it that you all complete. Okay, practice the entire calculation using properly log table, anti-log, everything, because you all need to have the practice of that. Okay, fine. All right, now students, the 7th and 10th numerical, why I have kept it for the last is that because here there are certain extra things, I mean, which was not there in your chapter. Okay, so some extra concept has been applied. That is the reason. Okay, so let us see the 7th numerical first. All right, so as you can see, the question: a paramagnetic gas has 2.2 into 10 raised to 26 atoms per mole. Okay, so in 1 mole, how many atoms are there? 2 into 10 raised to 26. Okay, fine. With atomic magnetic dipole moment. So they have given magnetic dipole moment. You all can see the unit as well, ampere meter square. So this is small m. This is small m. See, they have written each. So for every atom, every individual atom, small m is given. Okay, fine. The gas is at 27 degrees Celsius. So it goes without saying that you all have to convert this into Kelvin. Add plus 273. Okay, fine. What is the first find? Find the maximum magnetization intensity of this sample. Now students, here they are asking magnetization. Okay, maximum magnetization intensity, meaning they are asking the value for magnetization. Maximum means the overall magnetization that is happening. Please don't get confused. They are not asking magnetic intensity. Okay, they are not asking that. They are asking magnetization only, that is capital M. All right, fine. That is the first find. Second is, if the gas in this problem is kept in a uniform magnetic field of 3 Tesla, so they have given the value of B. Okay, your capital B. This T stands for Tesla. Okay, the unit. Is it possible to achieve saturation magnetization? Students, if you all remember the hysteresis curve, there comes a point A, right, which is called saturation magnetization. So that point indicates that all the atoms or all the dipole moments inside the material have been set. Okay, so initially when you begin, like initially when you keep the material inside the solenoid, dipole moments, they'll start arranging themselves along the external magnetic field. So initially it is 0. After some time, some of the dipole moments have been arranged, and after much longer, all the dipole moments have been arranged. Now after that saturation point, even if you all are increasing the current, it is of no use because the dipole moments have already been set. Okay, fine. I hope you all remember that. So here we have to find out whether are this paramagnetic gas that is there. Okay, when it is kept in a uniform magnetic field, is it possible to achieve saturation magnetization? Okay, under all these circumstances that is mentioned in the question, whether the material will reach that A point, reach that saturation magnetization point. Now the question is how to obtain that. See, the first find you all can do. Magnetization capital M, here and there formulas you all have. So just substitute the formulas, you all will get the answer. But for the second condition, how to identify? So that is where this new thing comes into picture, students. Here they have given you all the hint. But obviously in exam, they are not going to give you all the hint. Okay, see, it is like a yes or no kind of question. Is it possible to achieve saturation magnetization? Here the answer is coming no. But how did we get this answer no? Okay, that is the question. So refer to this hint. What is written in this hint? Find the ratio of thermal energy of atom of a gas. Okay, fine. Ratio of thermal energy. This is the formula. So you'll have to remember this formula. 3 by 2 kb into T. Okay, fine. Where T stands for obviously temperature. All right, please don't get confused between the capital T's that is written. See where it is written. If it is after some value, then obviously it is a unit, Tesla. Here in the formula, capital T means temperature. Okay, fine. Anyone can tell me what is this KB? I think so you all know what KB is. it's a very famous constant, like how your small h is Planck's constant. Similarly, kb is also one constant. Okay, so students, your kb that is there, so sorry, just a minute. Okay, students, your kb that is there, kb is nothing but Boltzmann constant. Okay, fine, kb is Boltzmann constant. All right, fine. We'll see what the value is. It obviously, if it is a constant, then it has a fixed value, which you all have to remember. Okay, fine. So what we are supposed to do is find the ratio of thermal energy, that is find this ratio, and the maximum potential energy, that is m into b. Okay, maximum potential, students all remember, right? Potential energy derivation, it was included in that time period derivation, u is equal to mb cos theta and all right, fine. Now here we won't involve theta obviously, because any information related to theta is not given. And this paramagnetic gas, we are discussing about paramagnetic gas. Okay, fine. So here, all right, so the maximum potential energy is mb. Okay, so what you all are supposed to do is find this value, find this mb, and then you all have to compare both the values. Okay, now what is that comparison and how will we understand whether it reaches saturation magnetization or not? We'll see it from over here. Okay, all right, fine. So this is my question, students. What all things are given to me? Firstly, they have given me the number of atoms per mole. All right, number of atoms per mole is given to us in the question. Okay, just a minute. All right, see, 2 into 10 raised to 26. Then they have given us magnetic dipole moment of every atom. So we can write m subscript atom. Okay, this is the value. Then they have given us temperature converted into 300 degrees Celsius. Students, we all know that what is the formula for magnetization? Magnetization is net magnetic moment. Okay, net magnetic moment per volume, right? Yes or no? Just a minute. Oh. Okay, I hope I'll remember this formulas and all. We did it last time. All right, so magnetization is net magnetic moment per volume. Okay, fine. Yes or no? Now the thing is that here they have not given us net magnetic moment, but they have given us magnetic moment for one atom. Okay, for every individual atom, they have given us net magnetic moment of the atom. So if I have to find out the total magnetic moment, what is the simple maths that can be applied? Just multiply this m value with the number of atoms, right? Yes or no? This is magnetic moment. Okay, this is magnetic moment of one atom. And in one mole, how many atoms are there? These many atoms. So if you all multiply both the quantities, you all will get net magnetic moment. Okay, fine. I hope you all are understanding this. Now here they have modified the formula a little bit. Okay, they have modified the formula a little bit. Just a minute, okay. Fine. So I can see maximum magnetization. The formula that we know is small m upon V. Okay, fine. So you all can see here upon V is there, and then magnetic moment. Small m is also there. Then number of atoms. Now here students, this number of atoms, okay, number of atoms per volume is substituted as density. Okay, so basically what they are trying to say is the atoms per mole value that is given 2 into 10 raised to 26. Okay, 2 into 10 raised to 26 per mole, right? So they have given number of moles, basically mass upon volume kind of thing is given to us. So if we have mass upon volume, then we can substitute it as density. And then small m, anyways, it is there. Okay, see, I'll tell you all how this is happening. We have small m upon V. Okay, small m upon V. As I said, small m is for one atoms. And then we also have number of atoms. The formula is like this. Okay, now here number of atoms actually is what? It is given per mole, right? So instead of this number of atoms per mole, instead of this entire quantity, you all will substitute 2 into 10 raised to 26. I hope you all are understanding this. Okay, fine. And then multiply it with the m atom value that is given, you all will get this. So this is magnetization. Unit of magnetization is ampere per meter. Okay, fine. This is the first find. Now students, the second find, you'll remember the hint that was given to you all. Find out 3 by 2 kb into T and then find out mb. Now this condition that is there, students, this condition you all can mark and star mark and keep, I mean in your target, or what you all can do is you all can write this much condition in your notebook and keep. Okay, what is the condition? See, if your MB value is less than equal to this thermal energy ratio of thermal energy value, okay, if it is less than equal to this value, then this condition is of low magnetization. Low magnetization means less magnetization. Saturation magnetization means entirely the material has been magnetized. Okay, fine. Two conditions there are there. So if the value of MB comes less than equal to this ratio, then it indicates low magnetization, and if MB's value is greater than equal to this ratio, then it indicates saturation magnetization. And what is my question? My question is to find out whether it reaches saturation magnetization or not. So agar yes आना चाहिए answer, then my MB value should be greater than equal to 3/2 kb into T. So what we'll get exactly, we have to find out by obviously finding the values. Okay, so you can see first find 3/2 kb into T. Students, see, this is the value for kb, Boltzmann constant. Okay, 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23. Okay, fine. Where did this 300 come from? 300 is my temperature. Okay, converted into Kelvin. So if I'll solve this, I'll get this answer. Okay, fine, for this particular ratio. Next, find out MB. Now students, M also is given in the question and B is also given, 3 Tesla, remember? Okay, multiply it, you all will get the answer. Okay, so if you all see this, okay, if you all compare the values, my value of MB is less than this thermal ratio. So if MB is less than thermal, this value, it means this is the condition for low magnetization. Okay, if you want saturation magnetization, then the value should be high. MB's value should be more, but MB's value is less. So this condition is for low magnetization, and the answer is no for the question whether it can reach saturation magnetization or not. Okay, fine. So this part, this second part is there. It is all the extra parts, all these conditions and everything you all have to remember. Okay, fine. Students, please let me know if you all have understood this 7th numerical.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What about others? Please let me
Yes,
know.
ma'am.
Okay, students, this numerical is actually very simple. Like only if they'll ask you all to determine this condition. Okay, determine whether saturation is reached or not. Only thing is you all have to remember this condition. And if you all see, the calculation is very simple. Like very simple formulas and just multiplication you all have to do. Okay, so not much calculation, only the condition you all have to remember. Okay, fine. All right. Now let's move on to the 10th numerical. All right, fine. Students, I hope you all remember the last lecture where I have explained what magnetic meridian is and your compass needle that is there. So when compass needle is freely suspended, when it comes to rest, okay, it is along the magnetic axis of Earth. That is, it is in the magnetic meridian and not geographical meridian. Okay, fine. So let's look at the 10th question. A magnetic needle is suspended freely so that it can rotate freely in the magnetic meridian. Okay, in order to keep it in the horizontal position, all right, fine, if you all, when it comes to rest, okay, if the needle that, see, I hope you all remember, assume this to be a circle. Okay, so this is, oh god, just a minute. Okay, fine. So this is my geographic axis, this is my magnetic axis. Okay, the plane, magnetic axis is at certain angle from the geographical axis, and the plane that is passing through the magnetic axis is called magnetic meridian. Now if you take a compass needle, you all will see that the needle is always rested along the magnetic axis. Okay, fine. All right, now this is the horizontal position for that needle, that is the rest position. So in order to keep it in the horizontal position, a weight of 0.2 gram is kept at one end of the needle. If you all want that needle to be at its position and not shift from here and there, what we are doing is at one end of the needle, we are keeping some weight so that it stays over there. Okay, fine. It stays in its position. If the pole strength of this needle, okay, pole strength, I hope you all remember, students, in any magnet, north and south pole, how do we determine the magnetic dipole moment? If you all remember, magnetic dipole moment is the pole strength into the distance between the poles. Yes or no? This was done in the very first lecture. Okay, fine. So here they have given us the pole strength of the needle. Okay, obviously there are poles, opposite poles present. So pole strength they have given. Find the value of the vertical component of the Earth's magnetic field. Okay, see, if I have to just simplify this find, what they are asking is for value of B. Okay, they are asking us for the magnetic field value. Now they have mentioned vertical component, etc. I hope you all remember this. I mean, I'm not sure if it was there in your 11th standard, but still, let me just quickly, just a minute, okay, students, let me draw the diagram. Okay, so if this plane is the magnetic meridian plane, okay, fine. This behind plane is the geographical meridian plane, okay, fine. There is an angle between both of them called angle of declination. All this was discussed last time. Now see, for example, if my needle is over here, okay, my needle is in the magnetic meridian, okay, fine, and its axis is B, that is the magnetic field. So it is very obvious. I hope you all are familiar with the concept of horizontal and vertical components. Okay, if anything is at inclination, we find the horizontal vertical components, right? So for this particular needle, along this line we'll have the horizontal component, along this line we will have the vertical component. Okay, now the angle that is formed from the needle and the magnetic meridian, just a minute, students. Okay, the angle that is formed between the needle and this magnetic meridian plane, okay, not the angle of declination. Angle of declination is between the two planes. Now I am talking about the angle difference between the needle and the magnetic meridian, like along the surface or whatever the boundary of magnetic meridian is. From that, how much inclined the needle is. If you all can see this blue mark, okay, fine, all right. So that is my angle which will be used to finding horizontal and vertical components. So what I'm trying to say is this horizontal component over here will be B cos theta, okay, fine, and this vertical component over here will be B sin theta, okay, fine, theta, if I indicate the angle as theta, fine, okay. Again, students, little bit in-depth information. So here, see, here the thing is they have not given us any information for theta whatsoever. All right, fine. So we are only supposed to find the value for B. Okay, even if it is mentioned as vertical component, etc., etc., we can use B sin theta. But from where will you all get sin theta? So you all have to obtain some other way through which you all can directly find B. Okay, I hope you all are with me till now. So let us look at the solution. Just a minute, okay. All right, fine. Okay, this is the question. Okay, this is the question, students. In your this thing, they have drawn a diagram as well so that you all understand it better. Now, this needle, the total length of the needle is 2L. Okay, now it is very obvious because both the ends indicate poles, right? Two poles. And they have also given us the pole strength. So their distance between them is considered to be 2L. Okay, fine. And if I consider the half distance, like of only the half the needle, then it is L. That is very obvious, half of 2L. Okay, now students, here what we are supposed to do is, here we are supposed to include torque in picture. As I said, we cannot directly use B sin theta over here because no information of theta we have. So whatever is given to us in the question, using that we have to come up with a way so that we directly obtain capital B. Okay, that is the magnetic field answer. All right, now if we just go through what is given, so they have given us pole strength, okay, fine. Students, pole strength, normally Q is written for charges, okay. So y'all can write Q over here or y'all can just simply write pole strength, the entire words. Then weight is given to us, yes or no, to in order to keep it in the horizontal position, at one end weight is attached. How much is that weight? 0.2 gram. Now what we are going to do is we are going to convert this weight into Newton. Why, you all will come to know ahead when you all will see the solution why this is needed. Now students, I hope you all know how to do this. Firstly, convert this gram into kilogram by multiplying into 10 raised to minus 3. Then multiply the value with 9.8, so it will be converted into Newton. Okay, fine. All right. Now see, students, here, as I said, we are supposed to include the concept of torque over here. Okay, now if you all remember that very first derivation that we did, if the magnetic dipole moment is kept in the external field, it will experience torque, right? But it does not rotate completely. Okay, it only goes till a certain angle and it stops. Why? Because there is something called restoring torque. Okay, something called restoring torque, which is acting in the opposite direction of the actual torque and it is keeping it in that position. Okay, fine. So here also students, in this needle, there are two types of torque that are acting on this needle. Okay, one is the torque that is produced by the needle itself. Okay, fine. Students, see the derivation that we did and we obtained torque as mb sine theta. Yes or no? So this mb, this is nothing but m cross b. We start with m cross b and all. Okay, I don't know if you all remember the derivation. Just a minute. Fine. So here there are two types of torque. One is the torque that is produced by the needle itself. Okay, fine. And the second one is the restoring torque. See, the torque that is produced by the needle itself results in the movement. Now, if we have to keep that in stable position, obviously a restoring torque will be acting externally on it. Okay, fine. And if it is in a stable position, it means that both the torques are in equal proportion. Okay, the forward torque also and the reverse torque as well, because that is the entire aim, right? Why we are keeping a weight and everything on this needle, so that it is at stable position, so that it stays at one position and does not move. First it moves because of its own torque, then there is a restoring torque outside which will try to keep it in its original position. Okay students, I hope you all are understanding, because that is what they have done in this solution. See, if I'll show you all the main part of the solution, you all can see this entire thing, this at equilibrium, torque of the needle is equal to the restoring torque. Torque of the needle means the torque produced by the needle. Okay, fine. Now the question is how to find both of these quantities. Now this relation is going to give me B. Okay, this relation is going to give me the value of B. Now the question is how to find the values. All right, now see the restoring torque that is there, students. Okay, restoring torque we are simply supposed to find by using M cross B. Okay, restoring torque we are supposed to find by M cross B. Okay, B is unknown, I know that. So let B be as it is. What is M in this scenario, students? Small m is not directly given to you all in the question. But instead of that, what they have given us pole strength. And we already know the distance, because the distance we have considered as 2L. Yes or no? So how we can find small m? See, here they have separately found out small m. Okay. So magnetic moment is pole strength into the length. So pole strength is 20 and length is 2L. So that small m we will substitute over here. Okay. See, restoring torque, the formula is M cross B. So instead of M, substitute the value. If you all will solve this, you all will get something like this. Don't worry students if there are unknowns in the equation, because the unknowns are going to get cancelled when you all use this relation. Okay, now the question is, see, now students, this M cross B formula of torque, this is in terms of magnetic dipole moment, etc., etc. Okay, when it is kept in the external magnetic field and all. What is originally the definition of torque? Originally the definition of torque is force into length. Okay, it is force into length. Okay, so basically this one more extra formula that we are using over here, which we have not used till now, is this first original formula. This is the original formula of torque. Okay, that is force into length. So now the torque that is acting on the needle, like the torque produced by the needle itself, we will use this formula, force into length. Okay, but the question is, where is force? Okay, where is force? So if you all remember, if we converted this weight, that is 0.2 grams into newtons, right? Yes or no? That is the value we are supposed to substitute over here instead of force. Okay, fine. So students, for the torque produced by the needle itself, we will use length into force. How did we obtain force? Force, we converted the weight that is used to keep the needle in horizontal position, 0.2 grams into newtons. Okay, so that value we'll substitute over here. Next, we have the restoring torque, the externally restoring torque, which is M cross B. We can find out M. Okay, we can find out M by doing pole strength into 2L. Now we will use this equilibrium equation and substitute everything. So you all will see, obviously L will get cancelled because it is on the both side, and B that is there, capital B. So capital B is anything that anyways we are supposed to find, right? So keep B on one side, take all the values on other side, solve this, you all will get the answer for capital B. Okay, fine. All right, so students, what you all can do is you all can star mark the 7th and the 10th one we discussed, right? Yeah, 7th and the 10th numerical, just star mark it and keep in your textbook. Please let me know if you all have understood. So we are done with numericals from this chapter.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Students, others, just a minute.